Good morning, everyone. I'm calling the meeting to order at 9 a.m. Let's see. I have a approval of the minutes for Tuesday, August 15, 2023.
I read them, you do?
I move to approve. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a second.
I do.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion has been passed and approved. Amber.
Amber is here.
Oh, welcome, Amber. Good morning. Okay, public comment. And
PO Box 778 Cannon Beach. I just had a question for Trevor, if you could tell us what's going on at the whale park?
Mhm.
Just,
That's part of my update.
all right, the next one, utility relief. All right. Cannon Beach Conference Center.
The one that I think we tabled until submittal of
Correct.
invoices and receipts, which are now attached.
Mm-hmm.
And the committee's recommendation is approved, so I would move to approve it.
I agree. I read the whole thing and I would agree. And it was good that the Eye on Water program alerted them. I thought that was a good, people are getting more on that. So I'd say, yeah, it was $3,492. And we have a limit of 1,000. So I would approve also.
So I have, sounds like I have a motion.
I would move to approve this one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Okay, motion has been approved and let's move on to the next one. Jeff Thomas.
I had one comment on this one. The staff recommendation is approved, and I agree with that. I just wanted to point out, unless I'm wrong, Tessa, you can correct me. I don't think there was any invoices receipts submitted with this, or am I just wrong on that?
I had one. Let me double check on that.
I didn't see one, but it kind of, the point, well, I'll go ahead and let you look, because my point might be new.
Right. It was my understanding is new construction and it was caught within 24 hours, but the bill just went, to me, it looked like 231 versus an average of 61. So it wasn't a huge differential, but it was one not overnight leaking under the house.
Actually, and you're right, Doug, and somehow I didn't catch that on this one. I don't have a force bill.
okay.
So I don't know if you wanted to.
Well, that's going to be the point, I guess, for discussion with the committee here. I'm fine with approving this because even though our form says that you must submit, utility customer must submit copies of plumber's repair bills and or receipts for parts required for fixing the leak. I think in the case of new construction, where undoubtedly they have their own resources in place, they probably have all the parts in place, they have the subcontractors, and they state that it's fixed. I am fine with that. I don't think in this case it's really required for having the underlying documentation, because there probably isn't any.
I agree with you, just because it's new construction,
Yeah.
it makes sense, because they're not gonna, the plumber is not gonna be giving them a different bill. It's probably part of it.
I will add also that this was submitted to us by the contractor working on the home and not by the homeowner themselves.
I think that makes a difference to me. Obviously, they have their own resources to fix it, so I'm perfectly fine improving this.
Okay, do I have a second?
You do?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
discussion? Okay. Francis. East Keller? It's, State Keller, probably does. Okay. Anybody has any questions?
Confusing. I read it, apparently there's a leak in the driveway, no wastewater impact per Daryl. So, but I couldn't understand what the impact was. Somebody, sounds like it did not go into any kind of,
May have been there. It looks like it may have been there, a sprinkler system, their irrigation. I don't know what's under the driveway. We have water lines that go underneath the driveway from the meter.
In some areas we do
do you? Okay.
try to avoid it, but
Is this that, or was this part of their irrigation? It wasn't the city line, so it had to be part of their irrigation or part of something that they attached.
In their service line from the meter to the resident itself.
Okay. Well, either way, it doesn't affect the sewer system.
No,
So I move to approve at staff's recommendation and my recommendation.
Okay, Dr. Second,
you do?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion has been approved. All right. I think that was that for that, right? Okay. Public Works status.
Thank you. You can tell we're pretty busy, found digging up some areas. To answer Jan's question about Whale Park, we're removing the asphalt and removing some of the sub base underneath that asphalt. And it's all because of that water leak that we had a couple of years ago when it blew out Whale Park, blew out the steps, the sidewalk.
Yep.
When all that water came rushing out of that pipe, it pretty much liquefied the road underneath there, which caused cracks and everything else. So that's why we're having to remove the asphalt and improve the sub base that exists underneath there. So this work is going to be performed. We started yesterday, today, Wednesday, and then asphalt's coming on Thursday. So everything should be open back up Thursday afternoon. The weather looks really good for Thursday, which is nice because we needed to have a dry day to asphalt that area. All business owners were contacted from 2nd Street North to pretty much Moon Service Station, along with the conference center. The business owners were great. Next, after that, we're going to be replacing some of the asphalt on the walking trail behind the conference center along Cola Creek. We had some root intrusion over in that area. After discussion with my arborist last winter, we're able to remove the asphalt in one section and put a new subgrade underneath of it. And we're just going to re-asphalt it. And that should buy us several more years of that trail being in good condition. Along with all the patches that we have all throughout town, that's going to be happening soon. The water team has been working really hard to fix. How many leaks have we fixed so far, Dan?
Probably about 50 leaks since May. Most of them small. Some of them, we're always excited when we find bigger ones. But we do have, there's a few leaks that we did leak detection early in the spring, and that's where they found 36 leaks, and we're down to 3 that are under concrete, things like that. The last ones we're going to get, but
We got a lot of holes in town.
we've
Yeah.
got some larger leaks that are kind of mystery leaks, and I don't know where they are, and that's something that's a top priority to, of course, to find is anyway, we're working on doing a lot of leak repair. Yeah.
And we have officially started the Siusla and Midway generator add-ons. We have the generators here in our shop. So O'Brien Construction is going to be starting the actual construction of those 2 pump stations, the additions onto that. We're excited about that project. Ecola pump station, we put a new generator in and it's officially been switched over and we're using the new generator now. We're excited about that. Main pump station down at the 2nd Street restrooms. We just recently replaced that generator. We had to actually tear into the side of the building to extract the old generator out and put the new one in. That's been framed back and reshingled. We're going to be doing the official startup on that generator in the next couple of weeks. We're excited about. And once we do the initial startup, and we feel comfortable with it, we'll remove the temporary generator, or it's already been removed, but we have it in our garage ready to roll. So that's what we got going on there. Any questions?
Amber, any questions?
I do. I have one question. So Trevor, I saw next to the sewage lagoons, I saw the asphalt that I think must have been taken up from Whale Park area. I don't know where it came from, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen there because I'm a little concerned about having chunks of asphalt next to our water and it leaching.
Oh, for sure. That's just a storage space. We're trying to get this project done as quickly as possible. So we're just stockpiling it there so we can get this job done and get the road open back up. And then we'll start picking it up and moving it to the proper dump sites.
Okay, that's awesome. I was just like,
It's not staying there. We're just trying to reduce windshield time while the road is shut down. So we're just trying to move material as quickly as we can.
got it.
Great, thank you.
Oh, one more thing, the invasive species guy came and he did the manual hand pulling of the invasive species at Little Pompey. So that's been completed.
Good.
That's all I got.
Fantastic.
Defer my time to Dan and Dan's just going to talk about the filter plant, the water filter plant,
And thank
what he does with that.
Thank you. Let me start with our water source, which is our springs. 8 months out of the year, and a lot of this, what I'm saying, giving you 8 months, it's average or sometimes a little more or less. But we use our main spring and we're on gravity. We're not pumping to town about 8 months out of the year. What we have available is dictated by rainfall. We expect that we're going to have we get 90 inches of rain a year average. Starting in about October, November. November's our wettest month. Rivaled by probably January is about the same, about 14, 15 inches each of those months. We start pumping to town when we have demand, usually in June, late June. We pick up the other 2 springs we have available to us. If we started our summer with 700 gallons a minute, of course, that varies each year, but let's say we started with 700 gallons a minute, that drops off, say 80 gallons a minute each month. So you start, almost go from 700 to 620 so far. And as the demand for the summer increases and our production drops off, we have the slow sand filter to supplement that with. Slow sand filter was installed in 1995. Before that, if they were running low, they'd actually pump directly out of the creek and send it to town, turn up the chlorine, and that was the solution to the demand before 1995. I think in the last 10 years, we've probably used the sand filters to supplement our drinking water, probably three years out of the last 10, and usually about 100 gallons a minute, 50 to 100 gallons a minute to supplement our supply. This year, because we've had larger leaks than I've seen, we started earlier with the sand filters, and instead of the 100 gallons a minute, I think it's been 300 gallons a minute.
Dan, I just want to, this is just the dumb guy after the tour. When I took the tour, a year or so ago, those gallons per minute that you were giving that were declining over time, that was from like the second spring, right? Those were you said we had X number of gallons per minute, then it goes down and down and down.
Well, it's actually, I'm talking about combined all 3 springs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So
That's our production available. Yeah.
those spring sources keep going down and down as the demand goes up and the weather gets drier.
Right. Our aquifer drops, and we don't see it start picking up until usually it seems like if you get 2 weeks of half an inch a day, instead of continuing to drop, it'll level out. And then another week or so later of rain, you start seeing it pick up, which is good to see. And the more rain you have, the more water's available.
So as those springs drop, at some point, you might have to switch over to use the sand filter and those were those lagoon looking things up
Yep,
there?
the two sand filters.
All right, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding this.
Yeah.
And those you kick in when the springs aren't adequate, is that right?
Right, when
And
demanded.
you start pulling, and the water source is from the creek at that point.
That's right.
Not 100% from the creek.
Okay,
Correct.
supplement, okay,
That's right. Supplement.
okay.
Dan, I got a question too on the mysterious leaks. You know, is that something that all of a sudden now is something way different than it used to be, or?
Yeah, I've not seen this, maybe 200 gallons a minute, either one large leak that's not surfacing or
Wow.
several leaks. And I'm considering getting another leak detection company in to help us find it if we can't in the next month find significant part of that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be,
We've been shutting off different valves to see, you know, what part of town it might be in. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to focus just on that, but I think with summer projects that maybe we can spend more time trying to find that.
I think that should be one of our items that we focus on.
Of course. I mean, it's not like we're just ignoring this.
No, like,
Well, we've been,
Searching.
yeah,
we've probably in the last 2 months fixed at least 20 leaks.
yeah, you said 50.
Yeah, yeah. That's since May or
Hey, yeah,
about May, we got about 50.
tremendous.
Yeah,
I just want to add one thing. So every year we do get the sand filters ready.
that's
So I
right.
get a lot of phone calls just because they see water in the sand filters. Are we using it? Are we using it? We get them ready every year regardless. We just have them prepped and ready to go.
Sure.
Not only for consumption, but if we pop a big fire or something like that, we'll need, mass amounts of waters, we're ready to do it. Instead of just playing catch up.
One last background, or one more background question. Okay, so when the springs get low, you supplement with the sand filters, comes out of the creek. At that point, is 100% of the water supply going into the sand filters, or just that's coming out of the creek and you're running the springs through the other system?
So we're sending, we're capable of sending 250 gallons a slow sand filter. And so we could send 500 gallons a minute. Like I say, we normally send, say, an average of 100 gallons a minute when we're using it. This summer maybe double 200, 250. But does that answer your question?
Well, I just, the way I understood it, go ahead.
You're asking is if when we start the sand filters, if 100% of the water that we're consuming
Yeah,
goes through the sand filter.
that's what I'm asking.
No, just the consumption that we're taking from it. Just what we're pulling from the creek.
Got it. All right.
Supplements.
You got it, Trevor. That's,
Supplements.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I suppose right now we've got, let's say 375 gallons a minute available from our spring, so that
Okay.
the others, if we didn't have the leaks, I don't think we would have used our sand filter.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. I understand. I got it.
Yeah.
Amber's got her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, thank you. I just had a question that I guess is very much related to, what we're talking about in terms of the demand and how much we're pulling and the leaks and all of that. But are we at a place in terms of our overall water availability where we should be telling people to kind of cool it and be a little bit more respectful about the water that they're using? Like, how are we in terms of what we have available? I mean, I think that that's a way that everybody should live in general all the time. But I wonder if we're at a place where we really need to conserve and we need to kind of encourage hotels and we need to encourage the bigger water users to kind of lay off on their usage or be a little more protective of the water they do use. Are we at that place?
No, we're fine with water right now. The demand's dropped off significantly since kids have gone back to school.
Good.
And with the rainy season coming, I expect it'll be here like usual.
Mhm.
I should note, I've been pushing for desalination for a few years just because, let's say it didn't happen. We didn't get our rainy season as we always do. Then we would have to tell people to cut back and, yeah, we're dependent on the rain. If we didn't, we would not have drinking water if it didn't, let's say it didn't rain till next February, just an inch a month or something. We wouldn't, there wouldn't be water in the creek. There'd be, right now, if you look at it, it's such a low flow. Anyway, it's that's something that we always figure it's gonna rain during the rainy season, and it seems to always do that. But if it didn't, I'd like to have an alternative, I'd like to be able to drink the ocean. There's a lot of water there.
And Amber, I'm just gonna add on to your question a little bit, is that when I talk to customers, which I talk to customers a lot, I'm always pushing the conservatives, to be careful with how much water you're using and the Ion Water app is humongous because that allows people to actually track their usage.
Yep.
For me, in instance, when I got Ion Water, I figured out how much water I was wasting by taking a 10-minute shower. And so that's just small, but I had a conversation with Public Coast the other day because they called me about a possible leak on their property. And I was able to go through their whole consumption month by month, week by week. And we had a great discussion about some options on how they can lessen the water impact that they're doing at that brewery. So it's always being pushed by city staff, especially myself, when I talk to customers on the phone or out in the field. So that's always something that we're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's really good, like even on a sprinkler system, for example, I have that, but I back off because I can see the eye on water, so if I don't use it, I back it off. And it's good. And I've seen the big desalinization plants
Yeah,
down in Huntington Beach, California.
yeah.
They use a lot of the ocean. So the ocean's right out there. So down the road, if we ever get to that point, it would be good to have some kind of a process.
Yeah.
But find those leaks. That's we got to find those leaks.
Can I ask one more question related to the consumption part? Just wondering how long, so for example, if we didn't get the rains the way that we normally do, which is what we seem to be witnessing kind of around the world in terms of weather patterns changing, how much water do we have stored before we get into a situation? And do we have plans thinking about and just watching, I guess, from one year to the next? Like, have we witnessed a decrease in the amount of annual rainfall, or are we seeing an increase in annual rainfall because of climate change?
My observation, and I've been doing the annual rainfalls for the monthly since 1981.
Yeah,
But
awesome.
we've got good numbers since 86, and I don't really see. That's actually online, and you can look at those numbers yourself on the city's webpage. But
Yeah,
we'll see how this winter goes. I'd say we're on. But I haven't seen any difference in rainfall as far as trends or anything.
Okay.
You have heavy years and you have lighter years, but generally, boy, if we had a 65 inches a year, that's low. I know my folks live in the San Joaquin Valley, they get 12 inches a year. So it's a big difference living on the coast and having the 90 inches average. But
I think the last real blip we had, most people in this room are old enough to remember, it would be in 76 and 77.
yeah,
We had a real winter drought.
Yeah.
And it was just a one and off, but I guess you have to prepare for that to occur again. I mean, it was very dry all winter.
Sure.
But that was the last time we had a real anomaly of lack of winter rains.
Right. And looking at your chart, 2019 was kind of a low year, but other than that, it's been really very good.
yeah, that might have been the lowest year on the chart.
Yeah, 2019, I mean, unbelievable. And like I compared with Central Oregon, which I came from, down there, and they got like 9 or 10 inches, and we got 90.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that's right.
Big difference.
Yeah, that's right.
Any other questions for Daniel or Daniel? do you
Oh, it's
want to
super.
for us?
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you with all that background and education. So whatever presentation you have.
That's,
No, that was that.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Most of what was here to answer questions.
Right.
Great.
Maybe you had some about the slow sand filter, and there's a lot you could talk about in the sand filter, but generally it's there
Yeah.
when we need it, and we don't need it all the time, but we start exercising it in about May, start it up in May and usually end about now. We'll see how that goes as far as finding the big leaks. And once we fix those, I'm sure that we'll be back to normal as far as using the slow sand filter.
thank you for letting us know that we are prepared in case we do have an emergency. I mean, those are the big things that we don't think about, but it's good for us to know. But yes, Jen?
So I don't know if you were told, Daniel, but Wes and I had written a letter on August 1st and read it to the council. And after I read this letter asking for certain pieces of information about the water, Barb Knopp also asked for a copy of a report for the council that we could all look at. And there were six variables that we asked for. And I don't know if you would be the one to get that information together, but
Jan, if you can get that to Tessa, that letter to Tessa.
I did give it to Jen,
Okay,
and I thought that was gonna be maybe passed on to the public works people, but maybe it didn't get there, so.
I don't know, but if you can get it to Tessa, that would be great, and then we can take a look at it and then get your answers. Then, because I think, right now we just want to deal with this and make sure that we can get you back to work to find those leaks. That's the important part. But yeah, no, we'll hopefully get the answers. That's what we need to do. So we'll get that going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dan? Because I'm going to release him because he's got.
We need to.
No, that's good.
Other than thank you for all your hard work.
You're damn right.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I do have a great team with Daryl and Sean. It's
Oh, yeah.
guys, you can't slow them down.
No, just, yeah, like you say, but those mysterious leaks, tell us how you do it. That'd be good.
All right, keep us posted.
Gotta have a,
All right.
Thanks for your time, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
I want to add one more thing to our public work status that I forgot to mention is
Okay.
Harrison water line replacement project. We've selected a contractor, McEwen, that's going to be performing the work. We're slowly starting to get started on that project. He's doing some potholing to find out where the utilities are. And then we're going to get the HDPE pipe here, and then we're going to start tearing up the road. All the residents have been talked to verbally by me. They've received letters. And so we're just gonna kind of slowly start that project.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll be done by the end of October with that project.
And
These
what-
chairs.
Besides, how far on Harrison is that going?
From spruce to elm,
Spruce down.
upgrading the size of the pipe to a 8-inch HDPE pipe. That's also gonna allow us to install a fire hydrant at the corner of East Harrison and Elm. There's no fire protection over there. So this is an added benefit to the residents over there, along with getting a brand new HDPE water line. And then in the spring, we're gonna overlay that street because we were already overlaid from Hemlock to Spruce on East Harrison. And now this will allow us to continue that overlay all the way to Elm Street.
Great.
That's all. But
Oh,
Okay.
Trevor just said excellent. Thank you for explaining that. I'm on the corner of Elm and Harrison, so I appreciate this very much.
Oh, Elman Harris, okay.
you're at 1063,
No, 1031.
1031.
Fire hydrant is coming near you. It's pretty awesome. That's.
Just want to remind folks, this is what I told the residents, is that one lane of traffic will remain open at all times. We're not shutting the road down completely. As we start planning for water outages, when we do the tie-ins, especially on Spruce and Elm, there's going to be water outages. And that's when I'll be communicating even more with residents, driving around with water bottles to make the outages as comfortable as possible. And that's kind of how we're going to do that.
Trevor, is it possible for you, because I don't think I've gotten any of the notices, can you just let me know when that's gonna happen so I can plan for it? Because I do work from home.
Of course, and I will have water bottles in my truck. I'll give you as many water bottles as you need.
Thank you.
Nobody likes having their water shut off,
Costco run.
so.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Anything for the good of the order? Steve, you have something? Scott, you guys have something to tell us?
Oh, I do. What?
Come on,
Thursday.
Oh, yeah, Thursday is the safety fair. The safety fair is gonna be fantastic, all day and till what, 7 o'clock?
1 to 7.
1 to 7, and we're gonna cover everything. I mean, barrels, go bags, you name it. FEMA, everybody's gonna be there. So it's gonna be a big, and it's been very advertised.
We're gonna have music.
Music, yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Music, food, it will be fun.
What's the locale? What's the location?
City Park,
The City Park, wow.
yes, and we will have hot dogs.
So
We had a big debate on,
Matters.
is it gonna be hot dogs or not gonna be hot
We
dogs?
will have hot dogs.
All right.
We will feed you, so.
Yeah.
4 to 4:30, for 4 to 4:30, okay, so make sure. Yeah.
Okay, very